Mitt Romney on Obamacare. He now is saying, I'm not going to get rid of all of health care reform. This is funny. The guy's flip-flopped so many times. Of course, we had repeal and replace, and then we had this. Let's take a listen to what he had to say on Meet the Press just yesterday.
Obamacare, and I'm replacing it with my own plan. I'm not getting rid of all of health care reform. Of course, there are a number of things that I like in health care reform that I'm going to put in place. One is to make sure that those with pre-existing conditions can get coverage. Two is to assure that the marketplace allows for individuals to have policies that cover their family up to whatever age they might like.
Okay, so this is fascinating because, okay, at level one, we have the incredible Mitt Romney flip-flopping that is constant. Just today, 24 hours after going on and saying that, a Romney aide told the National Review that Romney actually doesn't support the Affordable Care Act's ban on discriminating against people with pre-existing conditions, even though on Meet the Press, he suggested that's one of the parts that he would keep. So here's what we have for Mitt Romney. First, he is responsible for Romneycare, which is used as a significant basis for Obamacare. Then he says, well, yeah, but I wouldn't want to do that at the federal level. I would repeal and replace Obamacare. Then he goes back and he says, well, hold on a second. I wouldn't actually get rid of everything that Obamacare does, but I would still repeal and replace, except some of the things I would replace it with are things that are already in there, which are, of course, based on Romneycare, which I originally passed in Massachusetts. And then now this morning back to, well, don't go too far. Even though I said the pre-existing conditions thing was one of the things I would keep, I'm actually not going to do that either. Mm-hmm. Fascinating.
He only talks, the only things he mentions are the things he's going to keep. And those are the things that the population, the general populace likes the most about the Affordable Health Care Act.
And once it gets enacted, all these things are going to be liked by the general populace. It will be impossible to repeal this.
I think there's something else to be said about this, which is that if he keeps the pre-existing conditions provision in the law and repeals the mandate, the whole law makes no sense, and that will result in much higher healthcare costs.
Let's talk about it financially. That's a good point, Natan. Mandating coverage of pre-existing conditions is going to be a net increase in cost for the insurance company. Why? Because you're being mandated to take on people that inevitably, looking at the numbers, are going to incur more costs, more claims over their lives. You need to counter that somehow, and that was being done by the individual,
sure everyone is buying healthcare.
Individual healthcare mandate, which you're giving 30 million new customers to the for-profit insurance companies. You can't get rid of one and keep the other. It would actually be what Republicans always worry about, which is an unsustainable financial situation. It just wouldn't work.
Right.
I tell you what Romney should do. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I were a Romney advisor, I'd tell him to repeal the entire law, pass it with the exact same provisions, and just call it Romneycare.
There you go.